really the volume of a lot of deals, not sucking the margin. Come in.
Hello.
Hello.
Rachel Kipper from Citrix.
Tim with Aerotech.
Ni hao.
Xin Yu with Aerotech China.
Xin Yu, it's nice to meet you.
So what we've done is, based on feedback, I found it necessary to bring somebody in from our Beijing office, and she's in charge of the China operation. She understands English.
Okay.
She doesn't speak English. I understand Chinese, so I can translate. If she has questions, she'll just run the questions through me.
Okay.
She's been briefed by the team you've talked to previously.
Okay.
So we have an idea of the conversations.
Okay.
Anything else?
他们在宁静了。
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I talked to Kyle and the team, and they told us that we were going to have a salesperson that looked inexperienced. They were confident in the conversations that they would have a proposal that would hopefully solve some of our problems. A little bit of the, I've heard you were going to be young and maybe inexperienced, but Bree and Kyle and the team were impressed enough, so you made it to us, and not many people do.
Well, I appreciate that, and I have to
she's
tell you.
voiced her concern.
Okay, well, I have to tell you, I've really enjoyed working with Steph and Kyle and Bri the past few weeks. It's been a wonderful experience. You're lucky to have such great colleagues.
Okay, thank you.
So, Shin, I was actually in China a few weeks ago, and I had an amazing experience. I ran the Great Wall Marathon, and everyone in your country was so friendly, and the food was absolutely incredible. So I really wanted to meet with you guys today to kind of go over some of the challenges that I've learned about meeting with Kyle and Bri and Steph the past few weeks, and then get your opinion on those challenges and see if maybe there were anything else that I needed to be informed on, and then ultimately figure out how Citrix can start adding value to your company as soon as possible. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss today?
I think we'll figure that out along the way based on our conversation.
Okay.
We have some ideas, but I'd like to hear from you first.
Okay. Well, I do want to be respectful of your time. Is 20 minutes still okay for you?
20 minutes is perfect.
Okay. And here's a copy of my business card.
Okay. Thank you.
So some of the concerns that we've addressed through the last few weeks were that your company is not able to use their personal devices securely right now. So your employees are actually having to use the company devices and be in the office, which is hurting their productivity. Is that still something that you are facing and a problem you're facing?
That is.
Okay.
That is.
In addition to that, the monthly software updates are really killing the productivity by about 5% every month of your employees, which is a huge problem because they have to turn in their devices for an entire day and they're not able to work on those. Is that something you're still facing as well?
Yeah, my team has been trying to solve that problem for a while.
Okay. Is there anything else in addition to that you've been facing too?
In the U.S., and those are the primary things,
Okay.
problems that have been reoccurring.
Okay. So one of the other things that we talked about is that many of the company laptops that you currently have for your employees are kind of at their life expectancy. So you're looking into having to purchase all new laptops, which is a very expensive purchase. So that was one of the things that we were looking at, hopefully being able to implement a new strategy for that so that you didn't have to be updating those or getting brand new laptops for your employees.
Yeah, we already have approved budget for the laptops.
Okay.
So
Do you have
so
an
that
approved budget?
budget is done, and we're actually planning on today purchasing laptops in the
Okay.
near future because those employees need new ones.
But you have not done that yet?
We have not. I just approved the budget for them, and it'll take a couple of months for us to get them going. We usually
Okay.
approve budgets ahead of time.
And would you be open to maybe taking a different route with that if it could save you a little bit of money?
I can move the budget.
Okay, you can move the budget around. So one of the other things that I learned that you're facing is in the China project, they're not using dual factor authentication right now, which is imperative in China with the security protocol. So if you're able to use dual factor authentication, that would almost save the project. Is that still something we're looking at?
It seems like, as I talk to the China team, is that is a imperative that we do dual factor.
Okay. So other than those four main challenges in the US and China, Are there any other things that you are facing as a company right now that I should know about or that you think Citrix might be able to help with?
Anything else in China?
三型中王
Yeah, okay. So with the team in China that will be helping us build out Aerotech and our recruiters, although they speak English, their preference is to work on applications that are in Chinese.
Okay.
So all of our Aerotech applications, currently what we would do is just load the Chinese applications on a laptop. How's Citrix going to solve for that when we're going to have employees that need an application in a different language?
So you're wondering how we address different languages around the world with our applications?
Yeah, so for instance, their Outlook is going to have to be in Chinese.
Okay.
Right. Although we do communicate in English, and there's some staffing software that they use that is all in Chinese.
Okay. So I do want to let you know that Citrix is in over 100 different countries around the world. We actually have offices in Shanghai and Beijing. So this is something that we're doing on a regular basis and making sure that that language barrier isn't an issue. It's just a platform. So any application that you're using, regardless of the language, will be able to be used on Citrix.
Okay.
Does that clear up your concern?
是
That does.
Okay. So any other challenges besides the applications in a different language that you might be facing?
That's kind of on this particular project.
Okay.
Naturally, I'm getting feedback from the team. I'm a couple of clicks removed from what they're experiencing.
Okay.
So I'm getting all the information back from Kyle and Ray and the team. So far, that's what they tell me.
All right. So if I could show you a way to allow all of the employees to start using their personal devices, take away the monthly software updates to where they don't even have to lose their laptop for an entire day, which increases their productivity, and then completely get rid of the idea of having to get brand new laptops right now and push some of that back so you can allocate the budget towards other things. And then also allow for dual factor authentication on the Chinese project. Is that something you would be interested in looking into?
That's why we're here. That's what they tell me you can do. One thing that I'm thinking about, and having been around for a while, you're now going to ask our employees to have their business on their personal devices, right? Most notably their smartphones. They're also going to have their personal information, pictures, email, whatever else, Facebook page. How are we going to put them at ease to say that Big Brother, my IT staff, is not going to look at, not that I want to look at their pictures, that there's not going to be overlap on their personal phone from their business?
So you're concerned about your employees thinking that you're spying on them?
Yes, or that will somehow hurt their phone, the performance of their phone, because they're still going to want to do everything. Their personal banking, right, is going to be done on their phone, and then they're going to have their work proposals. Are they all now going to have two phones and a work tablet, a personal tablet? And now we've created a whole new set of problems.
Yeah, so one of the things about Citrix, and this is something that I get very often actually, we are just an application. So it's an application on your phone, similar to like using any other application you have on your device. So it's an application that you open up and your employees will know that all of that information is their company information. But other than that, it's just a server projecting onto that through the application. So we don't have access to their personal devices from that. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay, does that clear up your concern with that?
It does.
Okay.
I'll have to validate it with the IT team and make sure, but I get what you're talking about.
And I know that you're concerned about your employees understanding it, and we have educational videos online. So when we do implementation, we have a video that'll actually go through that with your employees, so they're completely relieved of that concern.
We'll probably need that.
All right.
They're salespeople, so they're going to be skeptical of things, anything new.
So I do want to tell you a little bit more about Citrix, just so you have the overview. We're currently servicing over 400,000 enterprises around the world. So as I mentioned, we're in over 100 different countries, and we have 2 offices in China as well. So one of the ways that we're helping companies out is truly through 3 different solutions. So we're providing them with the best user experience, allowing them to access their work life and their company computer interface from multiple different devices. So whether it's their cell phone, their tablet, or their personal computer, it looks the same on every device, which allows for an easy user experience, and there's not a learning curve behind that.
Okay.
In addition to that, we're allowing for better security. So only the right people are accessing the right documents. So the financial department can access the financial documents, but your sales reps don't necessarily have access to that. And that's all pushed out through IT. And they have different controls that they're able to do. In addition to that, things like printing or downloading things onto a USB, that can all be controlled through IT to make sure that even though it is on someone's personal device and they're using remote access, they're not having access to those documents if they're not supposed to. In addition to that, we make management simpler. So your IT isn't spending countless hours doing updates or bug fixes around the office. They're actually able to spend their time on more meaningful projects that will add value to your company, and it makes their lives a lot easier, increasing your employee satisfaction as well.
Okay.
So I do want to show you a demo as well so that you can see just how easy Citrix is to use. So if you look right here, I don't know which one of you wants to go through the demo. If one of you would like to do it.
You can go through the demo.
So if you click on Citrix Receiver, it's going to take you into the application. So you'll log in with the password and then get that authentication. It'll send you a notification on your other device. So you'll have a login with that as well, just to make sure you are the one using it. And then you want to go ahead and click on the files right there. So you can pull up all of your different files from your regular desktop computer. So you can access your photos, your documents, all of that, but it's streamed onto a different device. You can go ahead and click on Excel right there. And so that you can do your expense reports and also access multiple other things that you would be doing in your regular business day on your personal device, anywhere, any location. You can be on the beach in Mexico and you can still be working. So it looks just like a regular desktop. I mean, you have a lot of different things running, very similar. Does that look very familiar to you guys? Is that what you're used to seeing on your desktop?
That's what we're used to seeing.
All that clutter, multiple different things going on.
That's it, yes.
So do you think that this is something that you and your employees would benefit from implementing?
If it could keep us from having to do the drop-off once a month on the laptops,
Okay.
and increase productivity, certainly.
Okay. So is this something that you would like to move forward with?
Anything else that you see on
知觉库吗？
okay. So we haven't seen any updated pricing. I've
Okay.
seen some preliminary numbers
Yes.
on everything. And so what does the pricing look like?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about pricing, and then I also did a cost analysis on the things that I've learned about your company as well, and where I think that you could maybe afford to implement this through areas that I've seen that we can add value to your company. So I would suggest going with our Platinum Edition. So that's going to be a one-time fee of $310 per user, and then it's a 20% maintenance fee per year, which is just allowing for those updates and our company maintenance, which is 365 days around the clock, 24/7 service where you can call in and ask questions.
So is this Aerotech pricing, or is this the pricing anybody gets? Because her question was, in Beijing, we're on budget. We have a budget to go to, and so we're going to be looking for discounted pricing,
Okay.
Because of the nature and the size of Aerotech and the projects that we're having.
So you're wondering if we can discount the pricing for you?
We are wondering if you can discount the pricing.
So one of the things about Citrix is we know the value that we are adding to our companies, and so we really set our price and we like to stick to it because we are adding so much value to your companies that we feel like we have set a fair price for everyone to use this. So maybe it would help if I went through some of the cost savings that I think you would receive from this.
Certainly.
Would that be okay? So we talked about how using your personal devices would allow your employees to be more competitive in the market. So your employees are going to be able to access their data faster, which means that they can get right on to hiring someone instead of the competitor being able to hire them too. And when I spoke with Steph and Bright, they mentioned that they think that would be a $10,000 increase in commissions from each account manager. You have 10 account managers, which is going to be a $100,000 increase for your account managers. And then if you have your 20 regional directors on top of that, then as a total for your company, that's going to be a $2 million increase in revenue from an increase in commissions that you're receiving just by being able to compete in the market at a better rate. In addition to that, you're going to be eliminating that 5% revenue loss from turning in your laptops. So you're going to have you're not going to be losing that revenue, but you're also going to be putting your IT directors back to work to do more meaningful projects as well. which that in of itself is paying for the cost of this. In addition to that, you don't actually have to be buying new laptops. You can still use the laptops that your employees have right now. Instead of purchasing new ones with your approved budget, you can allocate that towards this, and we can actually run the virtualized desktop on those old laptops, and it will work just as good as new.
Okay.
Does that kind of help your concern with that?
So what you're saying is Citrix will pay for itself, and that I can raise all of my salespeople's quotas because they're going to be more productive.
They will be more productive, and it's also going to increase their job satisfaction. They're going to be able to do their job a lot easier, which is going to relieve some of that stress that they currently have of having to run back to the office to enter data and having to transfer information from paper to their computers. So I really think it's going to increase job satisfaction as well, and hopefully your retention through your employees too.
Okay. So
in addition to that, we're also saving the China project, because once they start using virtualized desktop, that's their only real concern in China right now. They're used to that, they know how to use it, and so if we start implementing that, I think that we'd be able to save that project too.
Okay. So how do you recommend that we would implement and roll out Citrix?
So you're wondering
we're
about
a large company.
Implementation?
We do large projects,
Yes.
But we've never done a project like this.
Okay. So we have consultants at Citrix, and I highly recommend that with the size and the scale of your project, that you use some of our consultants to come out and help you do an on-premise implementation of all of this, and they'll be able to make sure that it's up and running correctly and train all of your IT directors on how to use it too. And I think that that's going to get it rolling out perfectly for you.
Okay.
Does that clear up your concern?
It does clear a little bit of my concern,
Okay.
but there's a lot of exposure to Aerotech. If we just do I have Beijing, I'm not going to purchase laptops. I have all of these things going on.
Okay.
That we're just going to roll everything out at one time.
Yeah. So we've actually had other companies with the similar projects to you. I have Medex. Are you familiar with the staffing company?
I am.
So Medex actually implemented this last year, and they went through the same process as you, and they had to put a lot of faith in our company. But they were very, very pleased with how everything worked, how fast the implementation was, and all of the results that they saw from that. And that is a letter from Sandra Adams, who is a head at Medex, and she's happy to be a reference as well if you would like to reach out to her.
So your recommendation is we bring your people in and
Yes.
we do a full rollout across Aerotech,
Correct.
US and China,
Correct.
one wall to wall, if you will, of all of our IT.
Yes, and one of the other things I mentioned is that 98% of the Fortune 500 companies are using our products. So we are trusted. We have been used by a lot of different people. We're not just a startup company. We're being used around the world. So I think you can put a lot of your trust in the fact that other people and other competitors in the industry are using us as well.
Okay. So any other questions? All right. I think we're satisfied, so we will have to go back to the board, and so the recommendation is going to be to sign with Citrix for all of Aerotech at one time, and there's still, obviously we have a board to go through, but everything, if you're confident that we can do this,
I am confident.
It's we'll go the big way then.
Okay. Would you like to go ahead and put an implementation start date on the calendar so that I can get my team moving and rolling on it for your company?
We'll get the smart people involved.
Okay.
So we have engineers, you have engineers.
Okay.
I think it's time for us to get them together next week.
Okay.
So your tech people with my tech people, and
Okay.
they can start building out the project plan.
Let's set a time for our tech guys to meet up. So maybe next Thursday, say.
Yeah, I've notified them already
Okay.
that we were having this meeting,
Okay.
and based on the outcome that they were going to have to allocate resources to do this.
Okay.
So why don't we just start on Tuesday and get
Tuesday?
them together, and it'll take them a week or so just to map out the project.
Great. Well, I will tell all of my engineers that they have a plan to meet with you on Tuesday at 8 a.m. to start working on the project. Is there anything else I can provide for you before you meet with the board?
No, I think I have enough information.
All right. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me today. Shoo shoo.
Thank you. All right. Can all catch our breath. Good job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Yeah. So have this.
Okay. I printed a bunch of copies so I could use them throughout the role plays.
So I guess same question. Where were you guys last night? Out to dinner?
Yes. Oh my goodness. We were so sad that we missed it. We have a corporate partner who's looking at joining our sales program, so Mr. Lehman wanted us to go out to dinner with them and network a little bit, and it was so much fun. We had a blast out to dinner with them, but we were sad to miss out too.